Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. I'm Ken Ochanago. The late Ernest Okonkwo, the great one, when the game is on, of course the game of football, when it's on and you get into the end and he tell you, you can count them on your fingers. It's just 10 days to go, 9 days to go, 9 minutes to go, 5. This time around, you can count them on your finger, not both fingers. So, fingers in one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The die is cast. Lesotho hosts Nigeria on Friday, on the 10th of October, 5 days from now. And 4 days later, on the 14th, right here in Nigeria, not in Lagos, but in Uyo, Nigeria will take on Benin. It is tight at the top. It is dramatic at the top. Some turning events. When South Africa inadvertently went on to use an ineligible player in that game against Lesotho, which they won, it was a 2-0 victory. We all thought, as at then, in fact, even before we played South Africa, that they were up there. They won 17 points. Nigeria, all we could muster then was a missile. I mean, how many points? And then FIFA says, knock those points out. And not just remove those 3 points, remove 3 goals. So instead of the 2 goals they scored, they now lost by 3. I mean, there is a deficit of 1 goal. They lost 3 points and they lost 3 goals. We've been looking at it before. We thought probably that it was the head-to-head team that comes first. So if it was head-to-head, then it would have been a goal difference, because on head-to-head, South Africa did beat Benin home and away. It's something we couldn't do. I hope we can beat them when they come on the 14th. There's something we couldn't do. So as it stands, Benin is on top with +4. South Africa are second, while Nigeria is third. 14-14-11. Now, when you have 14-14-11, it means just a 3-pointer. But sometimes that 3 points have some grave repercussions. Sometimes it becomes, a steepy hill. You might think you're already get the like Sisyphus trying to push the stone up the mountain and it keeps rolling back. A Herculean task. So close, but so far. We can't qualify for the World Cup. But we can only qualify for the World Cup if we win the group. We'll tell you why. Group C, I don't think a second team will come out from Group C. It has to be winner takes it all. Okay, the under-20 teams, the team, not the teams anyway, they are there at the World FIFA Under-20 tournament, lost to Norway, defeated Saudi Arabia. The Colombians are waiting. And by 12 a.m. tonight, we shall know if we are going to progress or not. Our leagues, there is a certain Nasarawa United. I wish I had Shekere. I'll give it today. Because, before they played yesterday, and I tell you, they went to a formidable ground to play insurance. Insurance is not my team now. They went to play insurance. And we already been calculated that Enyimba and Rivers United are up there. That nothing is going to shake them. One of them will go top because Nasarawa are about to fail. For where? Nasarawa went to Benin, and I tell you, we'll give you the result. We'll give you the result. They sit at top. Bugai at top of the league. Today, I wish we want to see a new face. I have a lot of teams I love in the MPFL. So maybe Nasarawa is joining them. I like teams when they do well against all odds. It was Chelsea that went hello. Hello is the 12th alphabet. Chelsea were L. And a team with L was coming to play them to compound their own. So to make their own L. That yesterday at Stamford Bridge, in the 96th minute, Oshele, one teenager just put it inside there. And then Liverpool has their own L. This breakfast, they go around. I don't want to say who next is going to collect. The Catalan is in the house. And I love the Catalan when it's in the house, especially when it's put it on white. You know, Theophilus Agbolao.
Yeah.
Real Madrid won yesterday.
Yeah, they did. They won yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't really care about Madrid winning yesterday, Ken, because I don't want to talk about
I said Real Madrid won yesterday. Is it not news?
Why are you forcing it down my throat?
I'm not forcing down your throat. It's a fact. It is not. Look, your throat is not even big enough to take it.
Good afternoon. It's good to be back here. Of course, yes, Real Madrid won yesterday.
Yes.
Going back top of the table, and the win, they deserved that win. Although there were one or two calls that I personally found a little bit sus, but it's football, it happened. But like I said, my business is not with Real Madrid.
I like when you talk about Real Madrid.
Nassau United.
Because your heart, it is not your head that is talking.
Ken, it's my head.
It is your heart that is always
Ken,
talking.
Ken, see, there are facts here that if everybody willing to look at, will confirm that, yes, this is actually happening. In the last 6 games, they've gotten 6 penalties.
Yes, and well deserved.
You might say they are well deserved, well earned. But I know that if they have been looked at critically, I'm very sure those penalties, some of them would have not stood. There was also a penalty against Villarreal yesterday. Yes. But Ken, like I said, I really don't want to talk about them.
Yes.
Nassau United, Ken,
yes,
going away from home.
Yes.
Defeating Bendel Insurance.
Yes.
We talked about who could go top of the league. Talking about Imba, talking about Rivers United.
Yes.
That game, both teams had gone unbeaten. That was our conversation. We were really looking at Nassau, not because they couldn't go away and win, but they did it. And I'm looking at their form now. In the last 5 games, they've not lost a game, Ken.
Yes.
4 games, draw, win.
Yes, sir.
Something that
WWW.
Something that Liverpool
not
fans,
LO.
Not that Liverpool fans cannot, they can't relate to.
Anyway, let us go to Bede. Let's go to Bede. Somebody is wearing green. I don't know. Maybe they are celebrating 65 years of Nigeria. That's what they are celebrating. If we are ready, we'll go because we have a guest. We have he is member of this house, member of this team. He sits here and then he will tell you. He doesn't even respect him. You say you are partial.
and he can say it.
He will tell me.
Yeah.
He will tell you all this. Say, okay, you are partial. You are partial. All right, let's go. That's me, the former president, the former chairman of Lagos Fan. My guy, you see, he puts it there. I love talking to him because I just like to pick his brain. That is more brain there inside. Fred and Dore. Hello, Fred. How are you?
I think no problem.
No. Yes, I can hear you, babe. You can still be a little bit louder. You can still be a little bit louder. Today you are looking like, yes. Go on, Fred. Go on.
I'm happy to be here. I take this more yabi. No problem. Still your bros. No problem.
Okay, Fred. I can see that you're already in the mood of Nigeria at 65. You are looking, I'm not saying you're looking 65, I'm saying but the dress is a celebration of 65. You're not very 65 and senior you, so don't leave that matter. Fred, like I said, Fred is the former chairman of Lagos One, former secretary, former chairman for a lot of things. And when it comes to things he did here, we know we'll talk that one. That was not what they call him. We are talking at him because, right now, we're looking at, how far we've gone at 65. What is the roadmap? Where have we been coming from? Where are we? Where do you think we should be going? Where we should be at this point in time? Are we where we are supposed to be or whatever? But let me just put this. I know Fred is training to hear me, but let us see. Fred, Nigeria at 65. Sports. Score us 0/10 or 10/10.
5/10 average, I would say average, just 50%.
50%.
There have been good times, there have been bad times, there have been difficult times, there have been objectionable times, but not all bad. There have been some good times, and there have been very difficult, unacceptable times. So I would say 50%.
50%. What has been,
Yeah,
what was the day, can you recollect the day, your happiest day supporting sport in Nigeria, that sport made you feel as if you're on top of the world?
Okay, so first of all, we qualified for the World Cup for the first time in
1994.
1994.
Yeah, yeah,
That was a happy day for. We won the Olympic gold in football.
yeah,
Very good day for me. We hosted the African Games, all African Games then.
yeah.
Very good day for me. We've had the 1994 also winning the Nations Cup.
That
the
was
Super
sweet.
Falcons winning series of and then winning Mission X for the Super Falcons. Those
Yeah.
were very beautiful moments. Yeah.
Okay, and then as you go, there's everything will go upside, they come down. What has been the lowest ebb? Was it Nigeria has scored Nigeria? Oh, which of them? What really happened?
For me, it's not even about whether we win or we lose certain competitions or matches. We didn't qualify for Qatar. And then nobody knows what's going to happen on the way to the USA World Cup 2026. A lot of calculations. I've heard you making calculations for C minus 10 plus 2 plus 11 plus 2 matches and all that stuff. It's not a very good thing to discuss right now. But those are not even my difficult, moments. My feeling is, hey, and you guys see what's going on in Europe. We are playing football, we are playing league, and then we see Etihad, we see Emirates, we see Qatar. We see a lot of investments moving from the Arab world, from China, from the USA into Europe, and then moving across from Europe to America in basketball and all that. And then you guys are playing football here in Nigeria, and then you don't cut any part of that global sports economy. Okay. And then you've had all the clubs you mentioned, from insurance to Enyimba to Rangers to Kano Pillars to whatever. What are we doing with our football? What really are we doing? Are we just joking? Are you kidding me? You can't see the big money that's moving that football generates, and you can't reposition your football to attract that kind of investment, attract the sponsorship. You have lost your fans to Chelsea, to Man U, to Arsenal, to Barca. You've lost all your fans. They don't even want to see your clubs or hear about them, or they don't know too much about them, and all that. It is worrisome. And so that is, for me, some of the lowest ebbs. And to imagine that all the Super Eagles are playing, the only place we can play football, we can play an international match of the Super Eagles standard is in Uyo. We can't play it in Lagos. We can't play it in Abuja. And we have two big structures there that we can't maintain. Are you kidding me? And then we have a lot of schools that do not have facilities for young persons to do sports. And then you open private schools to allow them to run without any single sports facility. And then you think they're going to generate athletes that will be globally competitive. Are you kidding me? Those are my worries. Not whether we lost a match. I mean, you don't win matches all the time. I mean, some of the big teams that, let's say, some winners of the World Cup have also not been able to qualify for the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Some get bundled out in the first round and all that. So those are no big deal. Football will always be, or sport will always be, either you win, you lose, or you draw. So we see Toby Amusa. She got a silver at the World Championship. She didn't turn up at the Olympics, but that's fine. He didn't turn up at the Olympics. She turned up at the World Championship. So winning and losing for me is not the issue. But right now, sports have taken a more significant position in the global economy that we need to exploit it. And what are we putting in place to exploit it? So for several years, we really have not shown that we understand what sports means. on what sports contribute to the economy in terms of generating employment, in terms of generating investment, in terms of social cohesion, a lot of things. Maybe right now I still share with Dico with the renewed mandate of Mr. President with trying to relaunch research and reposition our sport. I want to pick a little bit of hope from that because somebody that I've worked with before, I think he has ideas. I want to see the push for it. For several years, I mean, our sports simply has not defined itself. It has not defined its place in our national economy, in our national ecosystem. And for me, we're just kidding. And then there's been too much politics in the associations and federations. Too much politics that leads the business, that jeopardizes the business, jeopardizes the sports itself, jeopardizes the prospects of the athletes. Are you kidding me that you went to Tokyo Olympics and then you were not able to manage the doping process or out of competition process of 10 of your athletes that you took to the Olympics? Are you kidding me? You took people here from Nigeria, part of Team Nigeria, and you took them, and then they just got disqualified because you didn't do simple things that you needed to do, or you took favorably to Olympics, and then somebody said we forgot or we missed to register her for 100 meters. Really? You leave Nigeria, go to the Olympics, and then you didn't register your athlete for the event? Come on. So those are not things I like to talk about. So I like to talk about hope. We have a new thinking in our sports now that I think there is hope. I don't want to regret, I don't want to dwell so much with all the things I've mentioned, but I like to sound a note of warning that sports is a big part of the global economy, and then we need to position ourselves to be part of that economic process.
Sober reflection. I like you pent up, getting it out, calling it as it is. It is a Sunday morning. So as we reflect, as we go to church and come back, we need to reset. I don't know about refocus and other things. Because the mantra, political mantra, is one thing. When politicians talk, it's so sweet in the ears, but they want to see tangibles. And that is what I am saying here. I don't even know if you put a square peg in a square hole, they will be able to get a square result. Not just, okay, fine. When they enter, everybody is congratulating. I don't congratulate you when you get an appointment. I congratulate you when you use that appointment to achieve something, to put something tangible on the ground. Now, Fred, I love the part you've taken in terms of infrastructure. The federal ministry, okay, it used to be Federal Ministry of Sport or Youth and Sport Development and Youth and Sport Development. There was development in the name of the whatever. But the past 3, 4, 5 ministers, we have 2 stadiums, the National Stadium in Abuja that was built 1999 when Obasanjo came, and the one in Lagos. And a federal government cannot maintain two stadiums. They cannot maintain 2 stadiums. But we see, when we are bugaing, sometimes you just bring them to brass track. Let them understand that this is what it is. This is what you are doing. Anyway, in spite of all that, in spite of the odds, the Nigerian has always found a way to push this. There is a young man called Stephen Keshi. And Keshi symbolizes what the positives. If there is ever the greatest sport person in Nigeria, I don't know if there is anybody who will rival Stephen Keshi in so many ways. Some, from school in St. Finbar's, winning the Principal Cup, to a new Nigerian bank, winning the WAFU. WAFU was elusive in this country. Rangers played and failed. Insurance played and failed. Shooting Stars played and failed. All the big teams played and failed. There was one team called New Nigerian Bank of Benin came, and they won back-to-back. Got to back-to-back final. 3 finals, they would have won it under the leadership, under the captainship of Stephen Keshi. But then we withdrew because Shooting Stars they were attacked. Keshi, as a team, won the AFCON in 1980 as a player. Won it as a captain of the, of the team in 1994. Okechukwu Keshi is all there. You said one of your greatest days when they were qualified, when Finidi scored that goal against Algeria, and we qualified in 1994 for the World Cup for the first time. We failed in 78, we failed in 82, we failed in 86. I mean, the failures were 90. We were just failing and failing. We even went to bring back Okala, bring back Chuku. We failed. We failed. And then in 94, we qualified. Stephen Okechukwu Keshi. Not only that in 94, in 2013, he led the team as a coach and won it. Okechukwu Keshi qualified Togo and Nigeria to the World Cup. No African has done that. Qualified 2 countries. Qualified Mali, qualified Togo, qualified Nigeria for the AFCON. And then the way we dealt with him, there are things we don't say on air. There are things God will only forgive us. The way we dealt with him, the way we threw him out, the way we rewarded him. But man can do things. After there are some, maybe there was some Pharaoh that knew no Joseph. But after that Pharaoh, there were some people that said, okay, fine, Joseph blazed the trail. All our achievements, or I can say, the things we achieve in football can be traced back to, the youth, participation in some international tournaments and in Nigeria. Of course, there was a Ramat Cup. So anybody who followed that should know. We go to the Gotia in Sweden, we go to the King's Cup in Brazil, a lot of them. But right now, I think some persons, last week, I talked on the Stephen Okechukwu under 17 tournament, and I said I will, thank God I'm talking with you today, probably. What is it like that, in a country in 65 years, that you manage to score 5 over 10? There is an excellent, otherwise, I'm looking for the right adjective to describe what, symbolizes, what Keshi symbolizes as a Nigerian sportsman. And they will say, let us do this, the ethos. Can we have a tournament? Can we have a people that will follow this track of Stephen Okechukwu Keshi? There is this under 17 tournament, I don't know, that they're doing somewhere. And they called me and said, why should people, what are the attributes that people like, that you see, to you also know who Keshi is, so that Nigerians can know?
So, you said so much. Some made me feel very, very deep inside. You said the way he was treated and stuff. But I think let us just remember the things that he did.
Yeah.
And that's why I say there's been a bit of too much politics in our sports, so much so that we don't begin to recognize the fundamental things. You just mentioned Stephen Keshi coming from St. Timbers. As much as getting into the national team almost as a secondary school student, from the secondary school principal's cup to the academical, and then to the club level, and then he's in the national team, and this is somebody that wins the Nations Cup as a player, wins the Nations Cup as a captain, and then wins the Nations Cup as a coach.
Wow.
I mean, what other stages? As a player, as a captain, as a coach, and then he was the captain also that was on ground when we qualified to the World Cup for the first time.
Yeah.
FIFA in their tributes on Stephen Keshi said, this is a legend whose memory must never fade. A legend whose memory must never fade because the scorecard is there. But not only just winning for Nigeria or contributing to the successes of the Super Eagles as a player, as a captain, or as a coach, but actually inspiring and supporting the upliftment of many young players into professional football career, gainful professional football career. And that's why it's called him Boss. He was a father to many young persons whom he lifted them into professional football career in Europe. And many of them become useful to their families, to their communities, not only in Nigeria, but as far as to other parts of Africa. And of course, you just mentioned how he also qualified 1 or 2 other African countries to the World Cup. Now this man is from Nigeria. And then we just forget him. So some guys at the Stephen Keshi Football and Vocational Center have been organizing the Stephen Keshi Under-17 football tournament for quite some time, but really without much support. Not much support. They just do it quietly. What can they do? And so this year, they contacted some of us and we're saying, we need to talk about this. We're talking about Stephen Keshi. You know, there are some people who had said, oh, what they did to Amadou, what they did to Keshi. Well, we need to
Enrico.
We need to we need to drive some bad spirits away. But I don't want to go spiritual. But first, for crying out loud, can this actually forget Stephen Keshi? Do we want to forget him? So I think that we should celebrate him. I think that we have enough reasons to celebrate him. There are so many players who give their testimonies about how Stephen Keshi impacted on them, including the current captain, William Trusekom. He got his first call to represent Nigeria from Stephen Keshi, who asked him to start thinking, don't think about Holland or where we are, start thinking Nigeria. And that was when True started thinking about Nigeria. Ask him, he's alive. So they're organizing this tournament, and we're saying, okay, it's an under-17 tournament because Keshi has lifted a lot of people, helped in discovery and mentorship, and we must continue that. The legacy of discovering young players, like we discovered him, like we discovered the likes of Henry Mosu also, and all that, and then continue with that legacy. That's what the competition is about. And we're saying this time also that we will not limit it to Nigeria. Well, let us take it also to the countries where Keshi has plied his trade and also coached, you know. So we're looking at getting teams from Togo, from Benin, from Mali, from Cote d'Ivoire, and all that. And if possible, from Belgium. There's a conversation going on there.
Okay.
The people at the Stephen Keshi Football Center are also talking with his club in Belgium to see if they can bring one youth team to be part of it. It's happening in Delta State. December 10 to 15, that's the day they are picked. Right now, they are looking for funding for it. Our hope, and of course, we believe that the Delta State government, of course, opened the doors for us to the Stephen Keshi International Stadium. But there has to be funding for this. The organizers are in the market. I'm not quite sure how the response is. And so I don't know whether I have the liberty to make a call, but we're talking about
you have to pay if you want to do that. You have to pay. I know we are honoring Stephen Keshi, but you just have to pay if you want to do that. Okay, but what I'm trying is this: are there teams also from Nigeria? Because you see, Nigeria has won so much at Nigeria is the best. I think at the under 16, 17 nation has won that much. But a thriving youth league, a thriving academy youth team of our team and the rest of them all. Do you intend inviting them? Maybe Rangers youth team, Rivers United, Nasarawa United are doing so well. We don't have their youth El Kanemi. El Kanemi used to have El Kanemi 1, El Kanemi B, who are playing the FA Cup finals in the state and stuff like that. Do you want to because that is what China's Kids Cup did. You understand? We started from Lagos, moving to the southwest, then into the sub-region of West Africa, bringing teams. That our own is under 13. So it was not glamorous. It was tasking. I know what it is like to fund that particular time coming, from the pocket of one man and how he was doing it. That is the thing. So when an organization does that, you guys are doing it. That is why we identify with you. So do you want to Nigerianize? I know it is good to go international and honor Keshi in other place, but are you bringing teams from Nigeria, from other parts of Nigeria to Delta State to be part of this?
So yes, it's a 24-team tournament. 24 teams tournament, and we are expecting that we should be able to have perhaps the national under-17 team of each of the countries that we've mentioned.
Okay.
We are talking about the UNSC resetting, relaunching, and all that. And my experience with Shehu Diko when they were running the league, they also supported the development of these youth clubs that you mentioned in virtually all the league clubs. And then they pulled some of the best players together, and they've attended several international competitions. So I believe that some of those youth clubs still exist in some of our Premier League clubs. and the door is open for them. So if we're talking about bringing teams from Mali, from Ghana, from Togo, from Benin, from Ivory Coast, they probably will not be up to 15% of the teams that will make up the 24.
The 24.
The rest are going to come. The rest are going to come from Nigeria, and private clubs are allowed to come in, either Premier League, either academies, or so. They are under 17. What is important is they are under 17. But again, there is a parameter which I think the technical officials can speak to of how to admit these teams. But yes, the bulk of the teams are going to come from Nigeria.
Okay, let me ask you this: are you guys incorporating maybe probably like a symposium to talk to the players to let them lecture them on who Stephen Keshi was and what Stephen Keshi represents, or they just want to come and play football and then go in the name of Stephen Keshi without imbibing? You understand that? Coming, leading the team as when Keshi is on the pitch as a leader, as a manager, as anything he was. I mean, it symbolizes excellence, and you say this is where we want to go to. It is not the beginning, but the focus on how to get to the end. Will you do that, or are you any chance of that happening?
At the time you begin to bounce like this, I feel your passion, but you have to calm down, brother. The truth of the matter is that before the competition opens at all, there is a lecture. And the lecture is the power of sports to transform lives. So you want these young persons to know what sports is about, and the attitude you need to take to go into it, and the elements that bring success, the elements that bring comportment, and how people like Stephen Keshi were able to go from the Principal's Cup level, from secondary school, through the academicals, through the clubs, to the national team, to becoming captain, to becoming a coach, and then succeeding in all that level. There is something about him, and then the children need to know what it is that informed that kind of character that led to that level of success. There are value systems, there are ethos, there are issues of discipline, there are issues of character, there are issues of determination, the never die spirit, a lot of things that these children will have to be taught before we even talk about playing football at all, because you see, it's under 17. And it's not just playing football. Yes, we're going to play football, we're going to discover young persons, there are going to be scouts and all that, but when you discover young persons, you need to build them mentally, psychologically, educationally, to be able to follow this path which they are pursuing. So, to answer your question, yes.
Okay, we'll end the discussion, but briefly before we end the discussion, what is on the mind of every Nigerian football follower, maybe sport follower, 90% of sport followers follow football in Nigeria, is, the mathematics I was trying to solve before you came on air. We play Lesotho, and then we play Benin. It has come to that calculator time. It is always there. So how are you seeing it? I know, briefly, do you see us? Because to me, to be honest with you, Fred, I believe that the only way we can go there is if South Africa falters, because there is a match between ourselves and Benin. You get it? There's a match between ourselves and Benin. So we are between Nigeria and Benin. South Africa is looking at us, that if they win their 2 games and we share with Benin any kind of sharing, they are true. If we don't collect maximum point, we land at 17 maximum. You understand? If they win, if they beat Rwanda, of course they are playing away. They beat Rwanda, they go on 17, and then, we come back here. So if they need 4 points, we need 6 points. That is okay. You can see that is the table, Fred. That is the table. Benin on 14 points, South Africa on 14 points. We're on 11 points. So basically, we need the maximum we can get to is 17 if we win our 2 games. But we are playing Benin. You understand? And then, all the teams are playing away, actually, on Friday. Nigeria is playing Lesotho. Benin goes away to go and play Rwanda, while South Africa South Africa, South Africa goes to play Rwanda at away, while Benin, go to visit Zimbabwe. So basically, and if all three of us win, they go 17-17 and then 14. Now that final day, 9 team. So how do this thing happen? You can see the goal difference. We're on +2. They are on South Africa on +3, while this one +4. Just on your own, do you think we can still make it?
Well, the principle of sports is simply that it is never over until it is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, not until the final whistle, you don't give up hope. And I don't want to talk about miracles, but there are sometimes you just feel like, this is over, you should just give up. But if we had given up when we were in Jaman, when we were 4 goals down.
4 goals down. Yeah, the miracle.
If we had given up when we were down to Brazil at the Olympics.
Yeah.
If we had given up when we were down to Argentina, at the finals.
Yeah.
So we learn lessons from this. I mean, it's a very difficult one for us. I never thought that after the days of encountering Angola and so on, when we are doing all this mathematics, we would be back here again doing mathematics. I had thought that Nigeria should have taken its lead and its place as a super house of what's it called? A powerhouse of football in Africa, that will be the first choice to qualify for the World Cup. But for quite some time, we have shown that we really haven't taken ourselves too seriously. Maybe some level of complacency, but I also believe too much politics, and then too much taste. And then a tendency for us to just rely on competition. And so we are patching at every moment, we are patching coaches, we are patching players, and you don't succeed like that. What have we done with the generation of super players? We just keep around. At a point, we are looking for children who were born in Europe, who have Nigerian parents, and then we can't raise players here anymore. And then players here will have to first travel to Europe before they can make the national team. Is that correct? So you have not developed your football. Because even for anybody to qualify to the Super Eagles, they have to first of all go to Europe first. And that is a bit, sorry to say, a bit crazy.
No, you can go to, Fred, you can go to Tanzania and get called up. You can go to Tanzania. Just get, you can.
Calculation. So we need to ask ourselves more fundamentally. You didn't qualify to Qatar, and then you are finally qualifying again. What is wrong with you? You should know that there is something fundamental wrong.
Yeah.
At a point in this country, in the Nations Cup series, we were carrying third. And I said to them, that is the point of stagnation. If you don't take time, you are going to be going down. Because it showed that after winning the Nations Cup in 1994, and then, of course, the incident that happened in 1996 and 1998 that we couldn't participate, the following editions, we saw ourselves stagnated at 3rd position. Finding it difficult to qualify. Even the World Cup we're talking about, we had a situation where we had to bring in Amadou to the rescue. I think that was, sometime, I can't
twice.
remember, but Amadou to bring
1998 and 2002, Amadou came to the rescue.
You understand? And then we're going to South Africa, and then they qualified us again, and then you bring Lagerback 3 months to the World Cup. So how do you build national, how do I call it? There has to be some sense of national power in your sport. You don't have it. Your players, the clubs are not strong enough to generate good players that can go directly into the Super Eagles. They don't have good facilities that can even attract, even by way of eyeballs, that can attract people to say, we're going to the stadium today, it's a big match day. Not in all the venues. The facilities are not there. The training equipment are not there. Even the academies are struggling. So this is what you get. So I want us to even go beyond the qualifiers, because if by some kind of mistake, some kind of slip on the part of South Africa and possibly Benin, we qualify, we are going to say, oh yeah, we are
all
good.
is well.
But no, all is not well. We need to look at it, brother. How did we come to this point? That's the question that we should be asking, so that we don't come to this point again.
Yeah, Fred. I think let's just end the conversation. I think that is the best way to end this conversation. We'll call on you probably maybe before you guys do that competition, and then our presence also might come in and see what you guys are doing and see how we can move on from there. Thank you so much, Fred. It's always a pleasure picking on that brain of yours. Thank you so much. All right, that is Fred Adore. I was thinking a long. We talk and talk and talk. We can talk all over. We can talk for hours on this. But let's just look at the World Cup qualifiers, like we are saying. You saw that table. The next table I want to show you is why it is difficult for our Group C, our group, to produce two teams, because. After the group leaders have qualified, we're talking about 9+1. The rest one, they go when 4 teams, are the best losers. Okay, now this is check out this table. These are the teams that are second in their groups, in their respective groups. Gabon is on 19 points. You are seeing it.
Yeah.
If they take one more point, they are on 20. Now, anyway, Nigeria can never get
20 points.
to 19. The maximum can get to is 17. You understand? Madagascar, DR Congo are on 16 points. If they win 1-1, they go on 19. The maximum we can get to is what? Whatever. Are we having a call on the line? Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yeah, that's Mazi Okorafo.
Mazi Okorafo, how are you?
We give God the glory, my brother. You see, this issue of World Cup, we have all it takes to be there. As we just really discussing with our guests as from now, the 2 matches waiting us, we can still make it. But the question we are facing is this: the players, are they ready to deliver? Are the government ready to give them? Because I look at these players when they come. Now look at when it sustained that injury. Ask yourself, which hospital did they put the guys to that? Which hospital? You see the thing, that's the problem. All these things discourages the players. Because when you come to Nigeria, you take your last blood to play. Any injury, nobody can, they just abandon it. That is the problem Nigeria is. Now look at it. The whole core, last time you were showing all the best players we have in Nigeria. Some of them are outside. No, they are not even brought into the Super Eagles. What do we do? The earlier the Super Eagles, whether coach, you bring in needful. That is to bring people that are ready to do the job. The major problem Nigeria is NFF management. They are not ready to do the job. Let us face back. What they are after, everyone looking for their own pocket, because if they are looking for all these people around, all these state that the whole Nigeria, they could have discussed issues with the government and make sure we have good up to first the political standards, but they are not interested. Everybody is looking for his own pocket. That is why it's so interesting. And the players themselves, they are not being encouraged at all.
So can we qualify or not?
This issue, incentives matters. Taking care of somebody matters.
They're taking care of them. No, Mazi Okorafo, they are taking care of this set. For this, they have not said their opponents have not been paid. They've not said, their allowances have not been paid, and whatever it is. So they've not said their tickets, have not been whatever. So, yeah.
You're talking about present record. Past record still counts.
No, we're talking about this team, Mazi. Let us concentrate on this team, not on he. We looked at it before. But if things when they do wrong, we call it out. But when they are getting it right, we say it right here. So,
yes. Do you know that we have a lot of players in all this academy we have in Nigeria? Are you aware of it?
We have players, but only 23 can be called up.
Fine. I have tapped them to groom the local ones. We have not tapped them. Good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Good afternoon, Mazi. Okay. Like before Mazi called, we were saying that in our group,
Yeah.
if South Africa win their 2 games, if Benin win their 2 games, we are not going because Benin, they are going to play us. if South Africa win their 2 games, I will win our 2 games. South Africa goes.
Yeah.
You understand? If South Africa need just 4 points, you understand, to go ahead of us, because 4 points take South Africa to to 18. The maximum we can get to is 17. We are no longer playing South Africa.
Yeah, that's our group.
This our group. You understand? Rwanda, Nigeria are on 11 points. So Rwanda must, okay, fine, let us beat South Africa. So take us to 14. And of course, their last game, that they are going to play will be against Lesotho.
Ken,
yes.
I personally, I don't see any reason why you draw 5 games and lose 1.
Hey, that one don't pass.
No, Ken, in
yes.
a group like this.
Yes.
And you actually want to go and play at the World Cup.
Yes.
Please, I was listening to Fred talk, and when you asked him what were his positives,
yes.
Nigeria is 65. The first thing he mentioned was we won the AFCON. Qualifying for the World Cup
yes.
in 1994. The next thing he said was winning the AFCON in 1994. And he said hosting the All-African Games. That was in 2003. And to the best of my understanding, we hosted in 73 before, if I'm not mistaken. Then he now mentioned Mission X. See, it's like young fans, football fans, that started supporting Manchester United some 10 years ago. They would not understand when fans like you are talking about the glory days of Manchester United, because it's recent. The same thing too with, I would say, my generation. Yes, we some of us, we read, so we know some of the things that we have achieved. But have we seen it? Have we witnessed it? The feeling that you must have felt the day Nigeria qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 1994. I don't think I've felt that kind of happiness. From the way you talk about
it, we were dying.
The way you talk about it, you talk about the Daman miracle, you talk about several instances like this. I think the highest I personally as a football fan I felt in 2013.
Yeah.
When Stephen Keshi took Nigeria, we won the AFCON that year. Ken, that was the highest for me. 2013, Ken, how many years ago was that? See, when we mention all these things, and we talk about the way it was treated, and I really don't want us to dwell on it, but Nigeria is 65. Normally, who is 65 years old is already an old man, or at least he's
the grandfather and the grandmother. What are you saying?
But our football, our sport, is still in its infancy, Ken.
We are still, exactly, that is the word, infancy. We are yet to take off. We are still toddlers, to trying to find our feet, trying to learn how to walk. But now we should be racing. We should be racing to the stars.
We shouldn't be losing athletes right now to other countries. There are too many things wrong, Ken.
Yeah,
too many things wrong.
At the MPFL, that is where we are supposed to be bringing up our players. Like we said, let us see games were played yesterday. El Kanemi played, and then Nasarawa played. The Vice Insurance played. Okay.
El Kanemi, they got the job done at home, defeating Kano Pillars by 2 goals to 1. But the results in Benin, Nasarawa United, and these are the things that I like to see anyway. I know some people do not celebrate it, but I like this. When you go away from home and you're able to get
93rd goalie role. That's what Stars fans call it too.
Yes.
This goal was scored in the 93rd minute.
And it's a goal that basically cements them at the top of the table, at least for the next week, because regardless of the scoreline between Rivers and Enyimba, Nasarawa will remain on top, just like Arsenal fans are shouting.
Yeah.
But it's a good one. So the games we will see later today are newcomers Barao will be hosting Warri Wolves. Bayelsa United will be taking on Ikorodu City, El Kanemi Warriors, Kano Pillars again.
Yeah, I don't know. That girl has been played.
It's been played, yeah.
Yeah, that was the game we saw.
Enyimba, Rivers United, Kwara United, Abia Warriors, newly promoted Kon Khalifa will be visiting Niger Tornadoes. And of course, Shooting Stars.
Up Shooting.
will be hosting Plateau United.
Plateau United. Yes. So Enyimba, Rivers, 2 unbeaten sides, something must give. Where if they draw, that means they are.
I asked you, can we see an unbeaten team?
Yeah.
A team go unbeaten and win the league. Yes. They can go unbeaten and not win the league.
All right. Let's take our next caller. Hello, Eugene.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I want to comment on the Nigeria struggling to qualify for World Cup.
Okay.
Do you know the problem we have
No.
This coach. Nigeria don't want to go for a world-class coach. And all these our authorities, I don't know what they are doing. Give somebody that knows about football, our FA chairman and co. You see, you cannot see somebody that is a farmer just from nowhere. You made him, you just call him to become a FA chairman, some minister for sports. What does the person knows about football? Give those things to people that knows what it takes. Look at Nigeria struggling, begging God to help us to qualify Nigeria that have all it takes to be a team, a better team. I could remember when Westerhoff and Bonfrey George were there, and we suffering for just common qualification. So let them go and look for better coach.
All right.
Even Raw is better than this failure now, which I know.
Okay.
So, I don't know. This is my contribution. You tell them, let them go for a good coach.
All right.
We have
so
players.
Is
We have
coaching?
quality players. Most of our players are playing in a good club, and they are regulars. Imagine.
All right. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you. Thank you so much. Eugene said the problem has to do with the coaching. The way I have the table, the MPFL table, so that we can look at it. But if we don't, all right, let us take matches. Of course, matches played in Europe, where our players will be coming from, and then. Liverpool, like we said, they chopped it 3-3.
They chopped it.
They chopped it 3-3 in a row. Chelsea against all the under pressure.
Yes,
you can take those results.
A dime-minute goal from the young Brazilian Esteban. Condemned Liverpool to 2-1 defeat at Stamford Bridge yesterday. And Ken, see, you remember we talked about it last week. And so Maresca said the next Chelsea player that gets a red card, he will shave the player's head.
Maresca got a red card. So what are they going to shave?
Ironically, he doesn't have any hair on his head. Anyway, Arsenal defeated West Ham by 2-0. Declan Rice, of course, going against his former team, and Bukayo Saka getting the penalty. So Arsenal sitting comfortably at the top of the table right now. Surprisingly, the result that surprised everybody yesterday
was
Manchester United against Sunderland.
Yeah, without
newly promoted Sunderland.
Yeah, with the first time they didn't concede a goal. A clean sheet.
And coincidentally, it was Lamens as the new goalkeeper making his debut.
And the guy made some fantastic saves.
Yes, against the Sunderland team that had given quite a number of new teams problems this season. Of
course, they were in the top 4 before the game.
Yeah, so Manchester United got scoring 2 goals in that one, not conceding for the first time in God knows how long. Hopefully,
this season, the first time they conceded.
Long may this continue. And then Leeds going up, but succumbing to Tottenham, who came back and won that game by 2-1. Today we'll be seeing Aston Villa take on Burnley, Crystal Palace, unbeaten Crystal Palace, visiting Everton. Away from home. Newcastle United will hosting Nottingham Forest, who seem to have had a very, very bad string of results recently. Wolverhampton Wanderers will be hosting Brighton, who spanked Chelsea last week. And then we'll be seeing Brentford taking on Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Yeah.
A whole lot of exciting games.
Fixtures, yeah.
So, all right. That is the podium,
yes.
For Formula 1.
Formula 1, yeah.
All right.
Oscar Piastri, McLaren,
let's take the next caller.
Oh,
hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon. Look your watch.
Good afternoon. Sorry. The weather looks very
cool.
So it looks like morning. Please, I want to mention on what that former man said.
Yes.
The man that called before I called.
Okay.
You see, one thing we have in our sports is that, one, coach. Secondly, our old players, we don't retain them. That is another problem we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uzo. That was quick. I love that. Uzo just said, look, the manager and then our retainership culture, maybe we try to keep them so that the teams can synergize and understand themselves. So it was, before that, that was just, we were saying the Formula 1 driver standing, but the poll at the Singapore Grand Prix that will be taking place, I think they will start very soon. You have a, okay, that is still the podiums. Yeah. Oscar Piastri.
So McLaren 1-2.
Okay.
And then Mark Verstappen 3rd. George Russell's 4th, Mercedes, and Charles Leclerc of Ferrari 5th. I always say this, Ken. If I'm not seeing Lewis Hamilton here,
Because he was one that inspired you.
Yeah, if I'm Muslim, without
I think he's starting sixth on the grid today. I think he's starting sixth on the grid because George Russell is on pole, followed by Verstappen and then Oscar Piastri. That is how they are, they lined up. So let's see what is going to happen, today. And there is no way Hamilton is going to win this. No. You can see Oscar Piastri right there. But then Max Verstappen is closing in on Lando Norris. He has got 4 wins now, but some back-to-back wins. Yeah. And then Lando Norris is on 5, while Oscar Piastri is there. Okay. I think we shall be going from here. Yeah. I'm
hoping that Nigeria 65. Fred said his scorecard is 5 over 10. Hopefully by the time we are 70, maybe we would have upped it to maybe 7 or an 8 over 10.
Okay. Nigeria at 65. Wait till I want to talk now. Nigeria at 65. It is not too late to start from the basics. Basic, because we do not have it. There are no grounds. We don't talk about the three, and a lot of things, but we need to sit down. This discussion, we get the brain to do it, or just the will, and then let us see, let's get it right. Nigeria 65, the way we always see this show, I'm kind of trying to go. God bless Nigeria.